This is what we're making, a smooth, domed cuff, tapered. This is 0.7 thick sterling, 24 millimeters wide, 150 millimeters long. Now this isn't annealed. I'll have to anneal it, but I'm going to coat it with boric acid and alcohol, burn it off, and then anneal it. But first, do all of your cutting while it's still hard. And for my layout, what I'm going to do is just put the marks in Sharpie texture, because when you're making jewelry, what you don't want to do is put marks in that you have to take out later that are unnecessary. So I'm just going to mark the middle. And then 45 millimeters, 40 millimeters up on the side. I don't need to go right from the middle because I think it looks better if the middle is a full width and the taper's on the end. Now 6 millimeters on either side of this center mark will give me what I want. So I want a 12 millimeter end. Now you can put a line on there if you want. If you're sawing, what you need to do is mark both sides of this so that as you saw one side and you flip it over, then you can saw the other side, so it's still on your dominant side. I'm going to use a bench shear because I have one. And this makes it really easy because you just line up your marks. Now this shear has never been used for anything other than cutting silver. So it has a very pristine blade, and it's quite easy to do things like this. Just saves you time. These are fairly cheap. I don't think I spent $200 for this one, and it's really been worth it. That part's done. So pick up your scraps, put them in with your other scraps, and I'm just going to use my shears and clip off the corners. You don't have to mark it, you can just use your eyes and get it reasonably close. Then the number 2 cut flat hand file, and I brace the metal against my peg, and then just that quick. So do both ends and then we'll anneal it. So this is boric acid and methylated spirits, and you can see that it's quite thick, and that's what you want. You want to have a fairly decent coating on the middle. Now, cover this bowl before you go any farther, because this is flammable. So I just rinsed out my brush, and I'm going to pick up the piece and cover the bowl. Now we're going to light this. Help if I turn the gas on. You see that flame? You'll have a nice little green flame, and then you'll have a dry white coating with boric acid on there. So now just anneal this just like you would normally. Bring it up to a dull red. And then quench it and pickle it. So be sure you have good ventilation when you're burning off your alcohol, otherwise it'll get really thick inside your studio. You don't have to pickle to get rid of flux, boric acid, borax. You can just run it under hot tap water. It won't get rid of oxidation, but you won't have much oxidation since you put this fire scale preventer on. And you can use any fire scale preventer. Fire, scoff, boric acid, and methylated spirits. There are heaps of them on the market. All of them work well. All they do is keep oxygen away from the surface of the metal while you're heating it, because it's the oxygen that lets it oxidize. Okay, the metal is annealed. Normally, I would just use an embossing hammer and hammer this down into a depression to get my shape, but because I want a smooth finish, I'm going to use my GRS bracelet former. GRS. And it's just this easy. Gives you a nice curve, doesn't damage the metal, and then you just go on your ball and form it with your rawhide hammer. Now, if you have a Bonnie Doon hammer, this is fairly soft so that when you hit the metal over your forming stake, it follows the curve. You have to hit it fairly in the middle, and it takes a pretty good whack to get it to work. Truthfully, I'm just as happy with my rawhide hammer. So you just work from the edge across to the other edge, go all the way, make sure that you don't have any little ripples in it. When you get to the end, it will look round like this, and you need to curve the ends in. Sometimes you can do it by hand, or you can hit it around a smaller dapping punch. So you just put this in your vise and hit this here. If you hit it on the ball, it won't do anything, so you hit it on the end. So you can hear the tumbler going off in the back. And this was just to celebrate my new, to me, motorbike, BMW, that I bought myself for my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Ciao.